Hi guys, I'm back again today. Wanted to share with you a little bit about how I installed my sensors and chest pieces. It'd be a short little video and not a real complex subject, but I did notice that on the eMove homepage, uh, he doesn't even put a tutorial here for chest. So we're kind of dependent on going to the internet or figuring it out for ourselves. So again, I'll include this reference in my description below, but I just wanted to point out that I did find Steve's video here nice, a good example. There's a couple more out there, but this is a good example. So there's help out there on the internet if you're looking for it. Let me pop up some pictures here and we'll get started. All right, here you can see I've got my chest plate all in place, and I actually am showing my sensors installed. Now the chest is mostly just printing, not a difficult print, went pretty well. As Steve points out, a couple of little areas right in this area here on both sides. Had to do a little bit of filing to get it to fit down like it should. I had good luck with everything else. You can see I had a little bit of shrinkage right here on that piece, but it's good enough. I don't think it'll be objectionable. So I did get all my sensors in. And while I've got this picture up, let me show you how I routed my wires. You can see I bring my wires down right through here and through the hole in the side of the back, and then pop it out to where I can work on it. I should say through the hole in the torso, right, and out to the back. I did the same for this sensor. You can't really tell it. Maybe if I blow it up, yeah, you can see there's two wires coming through here because the PIR is coming out that same hole. I'll give a little more detail about that here in a picture or two. But that's how I did it. All I did was put long leads on everything because I don't know exactly where I'm going to be terminating all this stuff, and I'll just cut off any excess that I've got. Before I did the actual install, I did do testing. I got my sensors prepared. You know, they've got the three little, in this case, the 4 pins that come out the back of the card. Got the nice little pins that you can plug things in, but I don't have the connectors or the tool to make all that. But I did have these short little test leads that everybody gets when they get a Arduino test kit, right? You could buy them on the net as well. And this end fits right down on those pins perfectly. And of course, then you've got the male pin on this end that you would normally put into a breadboard. But what I did was I took my cable and I soldered it to that male pin, and just protected it with shrink tube. And I put a little I can't even think of the name of the glue. Hot gun glue. Thank you. Got it. I put a little hot gun glue down here on this end, kind of joined them all together and tacked them to the board so that they didn't work themselves loose. And that gave me a nice long cable to work with. Then when I put it in to the body part, I put it in place, and again I used hot glue, and I just hot glued it in different spots along the way. And if you look close, you can see where I come out of the board here and loop back around through the body and then come back out with the cable. And I hot glued that in. That got all those terminals, solder joints and everything out of the way, stuffed back in a nice cavity where there was plenty of room. Left a nice small little cable to be routed. Now, when you set these parts onto the torso, there's no hole in the base here to be able to route any cables or anything. But I did notice in the torso that there is a gap. Let me back up here. I'll point it out. Right here at this point and this point on the torso, there's a small gap. That's where these cables are going to come through. And the way I did that was on the base part here. You can see I took a saw and I just notched out a little bit of the base. That allowed this cable to pass down to this base and into that gap. And let me route my cable. Here, there, you can see where I've notched it a little better in this picture. Right. Now all the hot glue that's been used. So once I got my cables on, and before I mounted it all in here like this, I did a test. Now I'm glad I did, because the ultrasonic test went fine. Everything worked fine. And all I did was go onto the internet and search for Arduino ultrasonic sensor. And there was all kinds of examples and everything out there for you to choose from. I'll put this link down in the description just so you have one if you elect to use this one. And that test went fine. I just did a dump out to the serial monitor and it measured distance for me, and I knew it was good and working. When I did the same thing for my PIR tester though, it failed. My PIR sensor was bad. Even though it was brand new, it was bad. So I, was detained while I ordered another one. And I got it in and I hooked it back up to this little test circuit, and it works fine. And I glued it all in and have no problem with it now. So I saved myself a headache by having done that little test before mounting it into the body component. Just to let you know, a little pre-planning might save you some work, some rework, a little harder rework. Now, the next thing I did, of course, was I took my Connect and I dropped it down in the hole to see how all that fits. And then you've got the two body pieces here, chest pieces that go over it. These literally are what are going to hold it in. But they didn't fit. that notch in here for this base to fit in was not right at all. Let me show you. This is what I actually ended up having to do. I had to dig and carve deep into the frame or the body of this piece in order to get it to sit down enough. I stopped short of the top, right, so that nothing would be visible. See back here, there's no damage visible or anything on the top. The notching I did was down on this end. So I did that in order to set it down in. By doing so, if you look closely here, you can see that there's a little bit of a gap down here on the bottom edge. But I'll live with that, because once you stand it up, that's not going to be visible. And these two screws then will hold that piece in place, and that Connect will be secured. So that's really it, guys. The install went smooth. The cables, I bought a little 4-conductor cable, worked like a champ, got nice long leads, found my routing. I'm happy with everything involved. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye and Let's see if we can get this posted to YouTube today.